Good day, family. Welcome again to another video. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. This video that you're about to watch is a preview to a discussion that we're going to have on this platform very, very soon. And this preview, well, this discussion, I'll just start off with that, is going to be an adult conversation. I don't even know the best way to put it, but it's going to be a conversation that is going to require a certain level of strength by the viewer and the listener, because we're going to have to go into some places that it's only talked about from the external, and it's mentioned here and there. It's mentioned within certain contexts. But what we're going to do here on this platform is that we're going to look at these situations. We're going to look at this overarching thing as adults, which means that we're not going to allow ourselves to make excuses. We're not going to allow ourselves to hide behind different excuses or things that are out there, the government. We're not going to allow ourselves to hide behind scriptures. We're not going to allow any of that. We're going to be adults, and we're going to actually look at these things for what they are. Now, if you are a follower of this platform, you do know, and you're extremely aware, that we don't just talk about problems on this platform. We also provide tangible solutions. So if you're an individual that will watch a video like this, and about 10 seconds in, you're diving in the comments and rolling your eyes and saying that I'm tired of hearing about this, that, or whatever. What about the solutions? Then I would kindly ask that you do one or two things. You either take the time, go through our platform, and see the body of work that we've already done in providing solutions. Or if you don't have the time, when you're not willing to spend that kind of time, then I would just ask that you would simply stay out of this conversation, because this is a conversation that we desperately need to have, and we need to look at our history, just unadulterated, and just take it for what it is, because what we're doing is we're moving our way towards creating some real solutions. But until we get to those solutions, we have to know exactly and see exactly what the problems are. And so what you're about to watch is a kind of a conglomeration or a bunch of clips that I put together, and hopefully YouTube will keep it up, but I would encourage you to watch it. And but if I will say this, it's going to be troubling. It's not something a rah-rah, exciting kind of happy thing at all. It is a video that's going to be quite disturbing for quite a few of you. So if you're watching this and it's in the time of the day where you're shutting down and you're getting ready to go to bed and all of that, my advice to you is probably wait till tomorrow and watch it, and maybe during midday when you got a little more strength, and you want to come back and watch it. Like I said, as long as YouTube keeps it up, I don't see why they would take it down. I would advise you to come back and watch it at that time. My goal is, this is being uploaded on a Wednesday, on Thursday, or the latest Friday. I would say probably Thursday. That's when we're going to begin our discussion. And, just basically taking some very serious time and looking over this entire topic. I can already see that it's going to be an ongoing discussion, so when we start off this discussion, just keep in mind, it's probably something that's going to be ongoing. And so, but again, I just wanted to start off this video and just letting you know, hey, listen, you don't have to watch this right now. If it's the time of the day where you're shutting down and you're just trying to, do a peaceful landing, then I would advise you to continue on course and stay on your peaceful landing, because some of the things that's in this video, I'm sure you'll find quite troubling, and You don't want to go to bed on that. Okay, so just keeping it 100. And so I just wanted to say that I'm going to go ahead and show this preview right now. And then when we come back, I'll have some closing remarks, and then we'll go from there.
Your mama's so nasty. She had to cut the string off her tampon because the crowds kept bungee jumping.
Good play. Your mother so cross-eyed, the bitch walked sideways.
Nigga Smiley, I love you and I invite you to come to Las Vegas anytime. They even named the hotel after your mama over there. It's called a Westwood Ho. Now, your mama is so ugly. She's so ugly she can stop birds right in the middle of the earth. Get your ass up off this floor.
Oh, no. Oh, shit, he can yank it. Oh.
Everybody want to know, yes, I did kill her!
That's Michelle Blair in court last Thursday, where the state is asking the judge to terminate her parental rights to 2 living kids, a 17-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old boy. In her confession, she says she killed 15-year-old Stony Ann Blair and 8-year-old Stephen Barry because they were harming her youngest son since he was in diapers. She said she asked the kids more questions and then, quote, I went back upstairs and started punching Stephen till he said he would tell the truth. How long has Stephen been in the freezer? I want to say 2 years. How long has Stony been in the freezer? About 1 year. She died May 25th, but I don't remember the year. It's a blur. When did Stephen die? August 30th, maybe 2012. In court last week, Blair said Stony had been harming her youngest son and put poop on his head. Back to the confession, quote, what exactly did you do to Stephen? Punched everywhere. I choked him. I kicked him. And she described scalding him with hot water in the bathtub. She said he died about a week later and that it was witnessed by 2 kids. The confession continues. At any point did you contact the police? Yes, just to give them, the kids, a scenario about what would happen. If one sibling is abusing another, they would go to juvenile. Did you call for medical assistance? No. Why not? Because I was scared. After you finished holding him, what did you do with Stephen's body? I wrapped him in his favorite Paul Frank comforter with monkeys on it and put him in the freezer. Did the other kids see you do that, put Stephen in the freezer? No. What did you do with your daughter, Stony? I punched her so hard because she was still doing that to the youngest son. The confession moves through time and details are too gruesome for TV. Did she stop breathing at some point? Yes, that's what did it. That's what I did to kill her. Did anyone else witness this? No. What did you do with the body, Stony's body? I put her in the freezer on top of Stephen. I didn't wrap her with anything. She later showed the living kids the bodies in the freezer. What was their reaction? The daughter was crying a lot. The son, who is now only 8, was just looking at me and said, "You're going to be in trouble." The confession was signed Michelle Blair at 6:51 p.m., about 8 hours after her arrest on March 24th.
We're going to Houston for All-Star. Oh, that's cute. My name is Casey Pope, and I'm a survivor of childhood molestation. Oh, is that going to be hard for you? When I was first molested, I was 12 years old. I went through some things with my dad. He would fondle me. He would touch me in ways that I knew was inappropriate. The breaking point for me was he came up behind me and just started touching on me. He pushed me on the floor, and he got on top of me, and he stopped.
My mom calls me, and I'm like, what the hell? How, like, what a time for her to call me now when I'm literally about to kill myself. And I haven't talked to my mom in years. I don't know how long it's been. I'm thinking maybe she's calling to apologize. this could change my whole entire outlet on everything. She says, your grandma said that you were looking for me, because I asked her, how did you get my number? She said, your grandma gave me your number, said you were asking about me, and I called you to tell you that I don't want you. You're not my son, and hung up. So I said, okay. I looked at my phone and said, you never were. Rolled down the window, tossed the phone out. All I know is they just made a right turn, and they kept going. And then I looked at my friend in the driver's seat, and I just mumbled under my breath, this. I opened the door, jumped out, boom.
Ma'am, you have 4 felony charges. Do you know what they are?
Wearing a jailhouse jumpsuit, 34-year-old Natiela Barros faced a judge whose job it is to make sure she understands the charges she faces. She told him she's a stay-at-home mom. He said he's not at liberty to grant bond.
Do you understand that? Do you know what that means for you? You're going to be here for a while.
Gwinnett County investigators believe the murder happened here at this home on Vine Springs Trace near Bethlehem. According to the arrest warrant, detectives believe Barros took a wooden rolling pin and used it to beat her 8-year-old stepdaughter 10 to 20 times, including on the top portion of her neck, and then refused to get medical care for her.
Breaking news tonight, 2 people arrested in the shooting of a 4-year-old Decatur girl. She was hit by a stray bullet.
DeKalb police tell us a group of people started shooting outside a house on Eastwick Road, and that little girl was hit in the foot as she slept in her bed. Police arrested these 2 men in that shooting investigation, Aaron Ramey and Tyron Walker.
We begin now with an update to a Channel 2 Action News investigation. A local Army officer is back in her DeKalb County home tonight, a week after we told you about how a squatter had moved in and was living in her place. Well, the woman's crediting Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray for getting her back in her home. And Justin with us, and that squatter is now behind bars.
Well, Justin, normally homeowners are told they have to go through the eviction process, which can take months. That's what Lieutenant Colonel Delia Duray was initially told by DeKalb police earlier this month. But after our Channel 2 Action News story aired, the DeKalb Sheriff's Office contacted her and said they will circumvent that process with something called an intruder affidavit.
If it wasn't for Channel 2, Justin Gray, I wouldn't be here today, and I'm truly grateful.
Look at all the stuff pulled out of this DeKalb County house. The alleged squatter, Vincent Simon, had only been in the home a matter of weeks, but you can see he had really moved in. Even his dogs had to be carted out.
Okay, this is just to let everybody know what's been happening today. I literally bought a house, I'm sure you guys are aware, and I'm not lying to you. Someone decided that they wanted my house, so they sawed off the locks, put their own locks on, and he is now occupying the home. And we are out here. I've just been waiting out here with the cops at the neighbor's house while the SWAT team plans to move in and remove.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Dalton's difficulties got worse in recent weeks with water main breaks. Henyard blames on trustee budget cuts. Then 4 people were shot and injured last week, leaving nerves frayed, and Henyard's opponents pointing out her sizable security detail.
It's unfortunate that politics are being played, but what has happened is $1 million out of my budget has been cut because of politics.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.
Tiffany Henyard considers herself something of a crusader, but one who's clearly annoyed by questions from a rebellious group of Dalton trustees who are in a standoff with her over spending.
At the end of the day, vendors are not being paid. Board approved it. The vendors are not being paid.
How about you be a good leader, bring RFPs to the forefront, so not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
WGN Investigates has cataloged tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars spent on trips, meals, and more by Tiffany Henyard and her allies in Dalton and on the Thornton Township Board, where she's the supervisor. Township credit card records show Henyard and other officials spent more than $67,000 on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class. So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, Henyard and her team stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill came to $13,000. Henyard has refused to explain the specific purpose of the trips or why they travel in such style.
They would kidnap you. Like on top of that, like not even the Deltas, but like if the Qs, which was the brother for fraternity of us, caught us, they could kidnap us. And then they would have to call your license. They would have to come get you. Like they could do whatever, you know what I mean, to you. Like, you know, you have to get in the cut, which I mean like take licks. Everything. They smile wipe you. They do this thing where they make you sit in Delta chair, which is basically like squats. They sit on you. They spit on you. They hit. You know what I mean?
Spit on you.
Hair. Yeah, yeah. Like for real. They do all that. I mean, some of the stuff that we had to do at set. I mean, the most demeaning, disgusting stuff that you could ever imagine. We would do this thing called Delta Apple, where we would literally all take and bite out of an onion and like pass it to each other. You know, we would eat dog food. We would eat what else? How else you know, they would like if one of the girls on the line had like the prettiest hair, they would ruin it. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like ruin it. You know what I mean? Now what else? You know, pushing, shoving, smacking, hitting. You know what I mean? You would have to take wood. Wood is where they, you know, they got the big paddles. You would have to get in the position and they would just tag you in, tag you out.
The business of skin bleaching is booming. A growing number of people in Africa are using creams, pills and injections to lighten their skin, but many are illegal and unregulated. Some believe a fairer complexion is the secret to success.
This particular cream is okay because if you use other creams, you might get sunburnt. Since I started using this cream, people have been complimenting me. My skin isn't too dark or too light. I keep my natural complexion.
Okay, so as you can see, that was quite a bit. And, you know, there's many, many more things I could have pulled up. And, but yeah, these are just some of the topics that we're going to look at, you know, when it comes to, you know, this history that we have as a people in hating ourselves. And we have to stop living in this denial dream world and compacting that. It's like kind of like if someone has a toothache and you just keep putting, the medicine that, that kills the pain, and you just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Meanwhile, the rot of that tooth is going down further into your root canal and all of that. And this is what we have been doing as a people. We have been compacting and compounding a lot of these issues and looking for anybody and anything to blame. But we have not taken the time and said, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to have to open this thing up, and we're going to have to look at the stink and the ugliness of for what it is. And from there, we can build our way up to building some solutions and addressing these issues. In the clip that you saw, hating our children, that's a real thing that we have. Now, again, I'm sure some people will say, well, that's not true. You're just cherry picking, because there are some good stories. Again, if you're not familiar with this channel, I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with this channel, because we do honor and celebrate the opposite, the good things. We do that all the time. And I will tell you this, the lowest viewed videos that I have on this platform is when I do those things, when I do highlight the positive. Figure that out. But only when you talk about the negative stuff and the complaining and the whining, that's when people apparently are more interested in that. And that's just true. And that's just what it is. There are people out here I know you're aware of that build their entire platforms in complaining and cursing all the nations of the earth and all of that. And, we just don't do that here. We're about solutions. But in order to create solutions, we have to be brave and bold enough to look at the problems for what they are. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing these things popping up, the disrespect that we have towards each other, the anger, the rage, the burning rage that we have that is at levels where it's murderous, the disrespect and the dishonoring that we have towards the children. One of the things I really want to dive in deep and talk about is the amount of our children who are being dumped in the foster care system. You'll find a lot of people, they will talk about what the government is doing with these children in the foster care system, but we don't want to talk about how the children end up in that situation in the first place. Yes, you do have cases where the government will overreach and take children from their homes, but that is not the case all the time. In many of those cases, it's just simply parents that just don't want to be parents anymore. Same thing with runaways or missing children. There are cases, and we've talked about them, quite extensively on this platform, where, children have been legitimately kidnapped, and by, people who trade in flesh, that whole world. But that's not the case all the time. In many of these cases, these children are running away from their homes, and many of us are not willing to stop for a second and ask ourselves the most important question. Why are Black children running away from their homes? We don't want to ask those kind of questions, but I think it's time we start asking those questions. We start looking at these things for what they are and come up with some possible solutions that we can kind of stem the tide on these things and begin to turn things around. That's the whole purpose and point of this whole discussion. Now, the first part of our discussion that we're going to have, we're going to go a little bit, we're going to do just a little bit of history, just a little bit, we're going to go back a little bit, and we're going to start the discussion in the country of Liberia. And if you're not familiar with Liberia and how it was formed, oh boy, you are in for something. I kind of contemplated even calling that one the origin of the FBA cult. I'm serious, because once you begin to see and learn about how that country came to be, who were the main players in it, I personally assure you that many of you right now that are listening to me, the people that you follow on YouTube, many of the people that you follow on Twitter, they won't even touch this topic, because once you touch this topic, it opens up a lot of things that many of our people don't want to discuss. We want to pretend it is not there. And then from there, we're going to use that as our launching pad, if you will, to look at other points in history from that point forward, and how we have unfortunately developed this pattern of self-hatred. And so we're going to look at, so it's going to be, we're going to take our time with it. There will be times where we'll do quite a bit of reading. So if you're a person that don't like to read, you have a very short attention span, or if you just want someone to tell you what to think and how to think, then I'm telling you right now, this will not be for you. Again, this will be an adult conversation. We're going to be brutally honest. There's going to be things that's going to be said that is just going to be, it's just what it is. You can't get around it. So, you're not going to be permitted to hide behind, as I said earlier, to hide behind government. You're not going to be permitted to hide behind the white man. You're not going to be permitted to hide behind illegal or legal immigration. You're not going to be permitted to hide behind your Bible or Jesus or curses. We've even done a video. Black people, you are not cursed. There are too many people out here that are preaching this message that black people are cursed. And what that does, it gives us an out to continue the madness and the foolishness. But we're not going to do that. We ending that. That is done. We are not a cursed people. I would like to actually, if I can, pretty soon, I would like to also do a video on who are we? Who exactly are we? And it's, it's something that I'm still learning myself, but I will tell you this, who we are is not defined in any book that has been given to us by our oppressors. I can definitely tell you that much. But as we continue on this journey, I believe that you will begin to see exactly who you are. But it's going to take some serious, some well-intentioned honesty on all of our parts in order to get to that point. So I hope you'll join me. That video, the live broadcast will be coming very, very soon. And like I said, thank you again for tuning in. You guys take care. And like I said, I'm just preparing you now. That's why I wanted to do this special video, so that you are already, prepared for the very adult, very serious conversation, because it's about time we start doing that. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you. You guys take care, and I'll see you again soon.